Welcome to
the MDJ podcast.
Episode 18.
Welcome to episode anime. I'm trying very hard not to say bullshit. And on this episode, we're gonna discuss 5 shows of anime that we have watched.
Okay.
And joining us is Adam. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Thanks for coming back. And Martin.
こんにちは。よろしくお願いします。
And Chan, of course.
Yay!
Peter should have been joining us, but he's sick, unfortunately. So I'll try to cut his opinions about anime in the podcast somehow. It's gonna be in there somewhere. So Peter also joined us for this podcast episode, unfortunately later. And now with the magic of podcasting, he's here to tell us all his wonderful thoughts about anime bullshit. So who are you, Peter?
I'm Filip's childhood friend. We know each other for over 20 years. I like combat sports, running, and computer games.
Peter's the Muay Thai master. He always taught me to do stuff properly. We choked each other in my private gym. Yes.
Yes, that was fun. That was fun for me, but not for your neck.
He choked me so much that I couldn't speak.
Because I like you.
That's what he always tells me. That if you don't practice properly, it doesn't matter because it's not proper practice. So if you want to train how to defend yourself from being choked. If somebody isn't properly choking you, that isn't proper practice.
It's a legit statement.
Yes, I know what I'm talking about.
So you've done Thai boxing, Krav Maga, any other martial arts?
No, just these because they are legit. I don't want to spend time learning some bullshit like Aikido.
So we basically spent our most of our life beating each other up virtually and physically in real life and in games. That's how we spent our time.
Best friend ever.
So are you all supposed to be like Jeremy and FPS Doug?
Who's FPS Doug? That's a good one.
I don't know.
He's FPS Doug. Are you FPS Doug?
Are you like Jeremy and Dawei?
What do you think?
It's hard to say. I think you are some special character.
Side.
Hasn't appeared on the show
Are you
yet.
Kyle?
I might be Kyle. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, we mentioned this show many times. Watch Pure Ownage. It's a comedy about pro gaming. It's the best show ever.
Yeah, everyone should watch it. It's fun.
The sun!
You are Kyle, but you can play games.
A little bit. So thanks a lot for coming back. I hope that you're still enjoying recording this. It's been a year and a half since you first started with this nonsense.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's
incredible.
It's been a while. And the podcast has gone through a bunch of nonsense. The most recent one was a bicycle trip where we recorded a very long episode and I made an overly long video, which I feel like is very... I don't know how to say. But Adam has watched it.
What?
Yes.
I watched like half of it.
Which surprised us both because I don't think it's possible to watch it like whole because it's very long, and I still made it mostly a podcast, so it's mostly for listening. But I edit a bunch of videos and like photos. And some people told me they don't like podcasts, but if they see the people's faces, they like listening and watching the faces. I was like, why? So this is the episode. You can see the faces of our sweaty faces.
Yeah, who would want to like see your cute faces, right?
It's not cute. It's awful.
No, it's cute. Just admit
Well,
it.
let's not forget the huge legs.
Yes.
Yeah, the legs were kind of like a turn off for me. Yeah, that's true.
If you don't know, I have ginormous legs, and they were on the video everywhere. But anyway, if you wanted to give it like a very honest, like harsh comment, what was it like, the video? What would you say?
It was nice vlog, nice travel vlog.
Okay.
Conventionally crazy for like what I would expect from you.
Okay.
Choosing a love hotel as a place to stay overnight, weird hotel in the middle of nowhere, and pulling your friend behind you. That's amazing.
I understand that as you like. What did you think, Martina?
Yeah, I think I did a good job explaining the main parts. So I was basically not watching it; I was listening to it. So I'm from the audience that didn't watch the video, but it works still. Like I listen to it like a podcast, and it's fine.
That's what I worked the hardest on, just to make sure that it's possible to only listen. If you want extra nonsense and see the pictures, then you can watch it, but you don't have to.
I really like how thrilling it was in regards to like expectations. What's going to happen next? You always gave your expectations for the next day and then utterly failed.
Oh, yeah, that was
Usually,
great.
That was really fun.
Anyway, I thought that would be very underwhelming because there was like a bunch of plans and then nothing happened.
No, it's great to see your plans falter. Like that's awesome.
I rebranded this podcast to be called Tragic Comedy Podcast, so that fits the name. So anyway, just a quick update. I am trying to like spam social media with the podcast. So I have an Instagram account, and every day I put there a picture, a photo, or something. And I've gathered about 250 followers now on Instagram.
Nice.
And all that. And I hate Instagram. It's stupid. I hate it so much. And I feel like the audience who likes this podcast hates Instagram too, because it's like me. So by spamming social media, I alienated my loyal listeners. So I noticed that since I started doing this, the last 2 episodes were during the time I was spamming Instagram and Facebook and everything. And these 2 last episodes have half the number of listeners listening.
Interesting.
Wait, are we such a hardcore like fans that we cannot tolerate Instagram and other social media as your like form for advert?
Maybe.
That's weird. I don't know.
I don't know. I just ignore it.
Exactly. So you ignore
Yeah,
it.
if you don't like it, don't look at it, right?
But I think like half of the people who listen, they got noticed. Like they noticed a new episode came out somehow, and now they can't notice because there is a constant spam of photos.
That might be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've failed again. So Tragic Comedy Podcast. That's my thing.
Yeah.
But that's all about that. Let's get into the nitty-gritty anime stuff. And just to start, I wanted to make sure the people who are listening understand who we are in connection to anime. So what's your relationship with anime?
What do you mean?
How much do you watch it?
Oh.
What do you think about it in general? And stuff like that. So I start. I always say anime bullshit. I don't like anime. I never watch it. If Chen didn't exist, I probably would still not watch it. And I have many problems with anime. I don't understand who is who. I can't tell who's a man and who's a woman. When a fight happens, I usually don't notice what happened, and I'm thoroughly confused, and sometimes I can't tell who won. I'm very... So anyway, that's my relationship with anime. How about you, Adabe?
I've gotten into watching anime at the end of high school, partly thanks to Martin, partly on my own. Didn't have anything better to do.
Would you say you're a hardcore
And
fan?
we know how that turned out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got into it quite a bit. I'm currently looking at. I've seen almost 5,000 episodes, according to my name list here.
Wow,
400
wow.
TV series.
So if somebody knows what he's talking about, it's Adam. He's like insane.
The
I
weirdo.
don't-
No, he's the anime connoisseur.
Yes.
Oh yes.
He knows all the things you want to know about anime.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Yeah. So yeah. And my favorite kind of anime is slice of life.
Yeah, we know that from other episodes.
Yeah, I like slice of life.
Oh, I mentioned it already. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, but I think it's like 1 year ago on episode 5.
Yeah.
When we talked about the fluffy tails and stroking tails.
Oh yes, fluffy tails, of course.
So I like anime because I don't know, I started watching it when I was like 5 or 6, whenever like Sailor Moon was first broadcasted in like the USA. And then I started watching things like Pokemon and like a lot of obscure animes. Back then they used to bring anything to the US if they thought they could sell it to kids. So even like really unpopular stuff, they would still put it there. Like something called Fighting Foodons. Do you all know what that is? It's a bunch of food. These people would make food, and the food would come to life, and they'd fight with the food.
Wow.
So even weird stuff like that. So yeah, I just thought anime was really, I don't know, something interesting, and I was tired of American cartoons always trying to teach you something. Like, I don't want to learn anything. I just want to watch.
Yeah, just enjoy the bullshit. Yeah.
So yeah, I started watching it, and then later I got more into like the slice of life type stuff, like the dramas. Like if you watch, I don't know, I think they come up with some pretty good dramas sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got into what Chen likes, because I like the weird shit. So how about you, watching?
My origin story is that like similar to Chan. I think Czech Republic rode on the like hype train that was in the USA about anime. That like they started airing Pokemon, Digimon, Beyblade, and such stuff.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, these 3 things, but it was huge. Like
What
at
about
one
Yu-Gi-Oh?
point.
Did they have that? Did they put that in your face? Oh, thank you.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
You guys were
No,
lucky.
nowadays it airs. But this was my basically first anime confrontation, like watching Pokemon 5 a.m. in the morning, like before going to school. So that's how I got, I guess, into it. When I was 14, 15, I started watching some like adult anime, which brings me to the thing I'm gonna talk about today, which is like Hellsing Ultimate, which basically introduced me to the adult part of anime, taught me that anime is not just a bunch of children playing on who has the best Pokemon or who has the best spinny thing, but without revealing too much, I think what I like about anime is like, unlike Adam and Chan here, I don't really enjoy slice of life. I like action in my anime. I like when the anime has some sort of plot that I can follow, and some slice of life has it, but when like there's consistent plot that I can follow, I'm pretty happy about that. And also, if there's a bit of drama, I'm all for it. Yeah, and that's me.
Great.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I forgot to answer the question, what do I like about anime? So I'll get back to that.
Oh, I forgot too.
No, I didn't ask it. Okay.
Oh, you didn't? I think you did.
It's
No,
okay.
now you
I just want to give the listeners an idea what we are like in relation to anime. You can say what we like, of course. Go ahead.
Okay, well, okay. So what I like is that because it's animated, it's not as constrained, but by what they can show.
Yeah.
Like when it's
that's
a
true.
live action, making everything CGI is very expensive. But when you have to draw everything, it doesn't really matter what you have to draw.
Yeah, that's true.
So they can be a lot more
Creative.
yes,
Yeah,
creative.
yeah.
That's the word. Yeah,
Maybe
that's
zany.
the best thing about anime, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that.
That's absolutely true. You can definitely go out of the ordinary and do something that especially the Japanese like to do, and do something very, very different and very strange.
I agree. Yeah, I use anime a lot of the time as an escape from like the Western style movies and cartoons. I think it's such a different world that it really helps you, broaden your area of bullshit, I guess.
Area of bullshit. Area of expertise, you were to say.
Yes, of course I did want to say that. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your relationship with anime?
I watch only a few animes, like Gundam.
Oh yeah, I like
my
that.
favorite.
You always talk about Gundam with Peter. What do I think about Gundam? Tell me.
You don't understand what's happening.
Yes.
You don't know who's who.
What's there not to understand?
They always explode and I know exploded.
They're getting inside giant mecha
Yeah,
and
they
they're
keep
fighting
cutting.
things.
They keep cutting between the mechs. I don't know which mech's which. And then some of the and then some of
But the mechs are so awesome and they are so different. Like they have different colors, so you can.
one of the Gundam episodes. Every Gundam, you always showed me there was a character, and I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, and it was always the other. It's not important.
I don't understand you. You can't see what a character is.
In Japanese anime, it's sometimes hard to tell who's girl and who's boy.
It's impossible.
They look the same.
But like once you tell Philip, he still can't remember.
Yeah, it's impossible. Well, when I watch UFC, I can never tell who's black and not.
Like makes sense. You can see if you're like, I don't know who's white American and who's European, but how do you not know if someone's like black? What?
Because in these times, because they are all crossovers, I don't know how to.
That's you. You said it perfectly.
It's perfect for this episode. Crossovers. That should be the word for it.
Everybody's
I
a crossover.
I like it. Good pick up.
That's a good question for you, Peter. What do you think would be the most beautiful person if you mixed any races? We have the perfect answer, but we're not gonna tell you. We talked about this. Like if you had like a mix of, I don't know, Russian, Swedish, Japanese.
You can have any mix, any number of things, anything you want.
To make the most beautiful person. So what races would you mix in what ratio?
Yeah, it can be any ratios, any number. It could be like all of them. It could be like some of them. It could be like half something and like 1/8 something else, and 1/32 something else. Whatever you
What's
want.
the crossover? I'm very interested what you're gonna say.
2%, 5%.
Before you say anything, please don't say 200% German.
Swedish and Sweden and somebody from Africa.
Oh yeah, okay. So Nigeria, Sweden.
Yes.
Okay, you gotta listen
He
to our
or
mix.
she will be big, strong, and beautiful.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay, you gotta hear this is our ultimate mix, okay? So we think someone that's like part Swedish, part Japanese, and part Indian would make a good mix, but like half with Indian and then one part Swedish and one part Japanese, because they'd get like kind of tall, they'd have like really luxurious hair, and then they'd have like exotic looking eyes. and they might have
you-
a good physique, a pretty good physique in there, like not like too big, not too small, just like kind of medium.
So to get back on topic, so your relationship with anime is Gundam.
you can tell that. I didn't watch the all Gundam. There are too many. I watched only few, and I like Samurai Champloo. That's pretty awesome. You know, I'm not much to anime. I'm like Filip, but Filip didn't watch any anime. He watched Samurai Champloo.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yes. And I watched a few more.
One more thing, I want to say that I found a website called Suzuri, and Suzuri is an online shop where you can register your products and sell merchandise. And I made anti-trash duck mugs and t-shirts.
Oh, there's
so if you
cups
want
now.
a magnificent, unstoppable and furious anti-trash duck on your cup in the morning, you can get it for about 1,600 yen. And the t-shirt is for about 2,200, I think, yen. It should ship internationally, and there is a bunch of sizes. They have from XXXS to XXXX large. So you can, so you should be able to select any size you want. And full disclosure, I get 300 yen if you buy it. So yeah, that's it.
Also, it's gonna bring you good luck if you do the anti-trash duck gesture every time you wear it. So that's good to bear in mind.
If you want to show somebody that this is a no-go, you can just raise your cup with the trash duck. That is.
Language quirk.
Okay, so first part, language quirk. We talked about things that people say a lot in anime, like anime tropes and phrases that are very common. And we prepared two, or Adam and Martin prepared two, because they're the experts. So the first thing is ara ara. Adam said that this is very, very common.
I'm not sure if it's common. It is. There is a specific stereotype that says this. That it's usually the Ojo-sama or One-san, big sister, or like a high-class lady or something like that. It's sort of like the English well. They say it quite often.
I agree. They say it a lot.
Okay, I've never heard it in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's interesting. I wouldn't guess it means well if I heard it. I would think somebody's angry or something.
I think it's also like oh my, or something like that. It's very open. Yeah, it's very open in the translation.
It's very similar to like when I say ma. It's kind of like
I've heard that.
like well, or like oh my gosh, or like oh well, like.
Okay, so another thing is kisama.
Kusama! Yeah, something like
what's
that.
that?
No, no. Whenever like Japanese like anime characters want to sound pissed at like someone else, like another characters, usually like in shonen or seinen or something like that, then they're gonna call the other person like "sama" and then like continue with more insults, like string of insults.
Okay, so shonen seinen is a show.
Like shonen is like the anime geared towards boys, young boys.
Okay.
It's like young adults, young boys anime, and seinen. I think it's like older boys anime.
Yeah, but it's like adult women can
Yeah, young adults
also
anime.
watch
Yeah.
seinen. It's strange.
I see. Thanks.
The thing is, it means something on the line like you bastard, or yeah, you piece of shit.
Okay. And one more thing is teme.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing. Like
Timmy.
or Temera. Even better. Yeah, but also like the same thing when you want to really like be pissed at someone and like insult him, you say this thing.
Okay.
And it's like, you fuck face.
Okay.
Or you
Great.
fuck face, something like that. Like it's also very open in translation, but that's like a bad way to call someone.
Okay. So you wouldn't say this in real life, I suppose.
No, like don't tell us on the street, like not in front of another Japanese. I think they would be like insulted for the rest of their life.
Yeah. It's like a whole bunch of like teenage boys might mess around with their friends or something and just really just make it as a joke.
I see.
You don't say it.
Okay. So is there anything else, Chen, that you think anime characters
Man, they say
a
all
lot?
kinds of shit. Maybe the one that always gets on your nerves when everyone's like, "Yosh!" Whenever they like decide that they want to like do something.
This is something that is very, very, very often happens in real life.
Yeah.
Every time a student comes in the lesson and he's a bit nervous and he wants to get into it, he's like, "Yosh!"
Yeah. So it's kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do it, or I'm gonna go for it, or like I've decided it's gonna happen, or it's like all those like feelings, like you're this is gonna happen.
You hear this very often in real life too, so I know this one.
So, yeah. I hear it more in like a lot of comedic animes though, like someone is saying "Yosh" and then they fail really miserably right after.
It does sound like lighthearted, so it does fit the setting.
Yeah.
So main part of this podcast, each of us has chosen an anime show, and we'd like to talk about it a bit in detail. And I've ordered them according to the date they were released. And the first one was chosen by Chen, and she chose one of the biggest classic, Sailor Moon, that started in 1991. It's got about 200 episodes. Each episode is quite short, 20 minutes. And I should stop talking, because that's what was the plan about this episode. I'm just gonna shut up, because I don't know anything about this.
So Sailor Moon actually started out as a comic book first in Japan, written by an artist and author named, I'm gonna go last name first, Takeuchi Naoko. And she's written other things, but this is the only one that was really, really popular with people. And basically, if you watch it or read it from the beginning, it just seems like, some girl, she gets a mysterious item from some talking animal and she can transform into basically like a superhero. But later you learn in the story that she's like a reincarnation of herself. So that's why she's transforming. She's turning back into her old self. So it's basically like someone living a new life and trying to, be happier in this new life and create a better future. That's actually the big story, but usually people don't see it.
That sounds very deep.
It is
not
deep.
At all what I saw.
If you read all of it, not watch all of it, the show's different, but if you read it, you get this deep story. But anyway, I like the anime because it's just kind of fun. It's girl versus monster, and usually you don't get girl versus monster anymore. If you get girl versus monster, it's like a weird hentai, or it's like a bunch of guns or something. But this one's just like, it's like Power Rangers, but like all girls. So I just enjoyed it as a kid because it was nice to see, something positive with, like, oh, okay, a girl can do something, and, she was strong and she had lots of friends and she always saved the day.
Okay.
So it was comforting as a kid.
Yeah. I think it became really famous because of the costumes.
Yeah, it shows in Japan, around Tokyo, the school uniform is known to be kind of famous and honoring Marine forces, like military. So they have like the sailor uniform, and she actually had a sailor inspired suit as her costume, and her hairstyles was famous. I think
before I start spewing nonsense, anything the people who know what they're talking about want to say? Like, I mean, in general, what do you think
you
about
mean
this
us?
show?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
of course.
I don't know, like I didn't ever watch like Sailor Moon because it's not my style of, like, not my cup of tea regarding anime. But I've watched the few episodes that you recommended, and I quite enjoyed it. Like, it has nice humor. It's kind of lighthearted, so it like doesn't force you to think about it so much. So it's like you can just turn off and have fun with it. But like it was a bit too childish for me, I would say. And as you were saying, like, now it looks more interesting. Like when you see the overall story and like having a deeper meaning, but from the few episodes I watched, I didn't really enjoy like this childish theme that these girls like have. Like, they are too optimistic. Everything is like everything is basically solved by the power of love. Yeah, and it's
that's
just
the point.
Kind of wholesome.
I guess that's the point, but it's just weird. Sorry.
Anything you have to add, Adame?
Well, I've seen the first episode and the episode John recommended. I haven't seen it before, simply because it wasn't aired here and not really my cup of tea. But I have to say the opening was great. I really like the opening.
I think that's very, very famous, the opening scene. And the opening theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the theme song is great.
And the
As Martin
transformation
said,
animation is very well done.
Yeah. As Martin said, it's a bit childish, and the pace at which it tells the story it's so freaking fast.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know, maybe as a kid I wouldn't mind, but damn, it felt very fast. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but not something I would watch today.
So what did you think of Sailor Moon?
Very girly stuff. If I would be 15 years old girl, I would like that, but I'm not. So it was pretty normal, quite normal. No, I was not surprised.
Okay, I'm very surprised by you not being surprised. I was very surprised.
I mean, it's normal in terms of girlish animes that have action.
Okay.
It was okay. It was fine. There was some idea like the father was overprotective to his daughter, so his overprotectiveness of her caused more trouble. That was good.
Yeah, you can learn something.
Yeah, that might have been the best quote anybody had in this podcast. It's like the best comment we had on this show. So somebody actually watched it and thought about it. That hasn't happened yet.
Good. Yeah, I like it. Like I said, as a kid, it was just like something nice to like grow up with. So I still have like a love for it. But yeah, the anime is very different from like the original comic, and the original comic doesn't have that light-hearted kind of sense. Like they purposely made it like try to be funnier and those things, like how they overdo the characters, like how the main character is always crying and loud and always happy and all this other stuff. She doesn't do that so much like in the comic book. She's actually a little bit sad all of the time, which is actually like you wouldn't want your character to always be a little sad. So they changed that, and the whole comic is a little bit dark. It even has like a really dark ending to it. So like they changed it to be more like a nice positive story for young girls versus like a more realistic one. So actually I enjoy the manga much more. But I have a special place in my heart for the anime.
Yeah, that sounds nice. So, for me, right off the bat, all the characters look fucking the same. I can't tell who's who. And then I asked Chen, and the girls have the same fucking face. It's the copy. It's the same character. How am I supposed to know who's who if it's the same exact face?
No, their hair, their clothes, right?
Very different hair.
That's what Chen said. So you basically have to tell who's who only by hair.
Yeah.
So if
I get basically color coded.
they color coded and hair coded. So that's one thing. And second thing is that if you watch animation, there is two types of characters. One is like on model and one is off model. So what it means is that like Disney animation, typically traditional animation, they would have a model and they try to stick to it. So if you they had like a 3D model and they turned it and they drew it so it would fit the character, the character wouldn't change shape. But in Japanese anime, very, very often, if you look from far away, it's a different shape. Or if you have like an over-exaggerated motion, face, expression, they change the model itself. The character itself completely changes shape, and the face changes shape. And this happens so much in this show, and the faces scare me.
That's what I wanted to add. Like the number of weird faces in the episode I watched was getting
exactly
close
my
to like
notes.
60 per minute.
Exactly my notes.
That's why I like it because I thought it's just like it made me laugh.
The faces are insanely extreme.
I guess I'm used to it. I didn't notice.
This is one of the things that bugs me about anime so much because sometimes I'm like into it and it's kind of serious or some kind of emotion, and this face always ruins it for me because I'm like into the scene and then this face shows up over the whole screen. It completely changes the character's face expression and just exaggerate. It just kills me. I especially hate the crying animation, how they have the lines a bit under their eyes, like this like a river of like tears. I hate that.
No, how else would you draw a character crying, man?
Just normal tears, goddammit.
It's normal.
It's expensive though.
Like the animation, some stuff never have it like at all. Like we watch Wolf Children, there's not a single
but
face.
this show especially does it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like-
agree.
Like I dropped a coin, and instantly tears like streaming everywhere, like explosion.
But that's what's fun as a kid. So I like
It is fun. I feel like I cannot be bored watching this. Like it accomplishes that. So what we like to do is to quickly discuss one episode of each of these shows. So each of us who chose the show also chose an episode that we all watched before we recording this. So the episode we watched was number 20. It was called The Summer, the Beach, Youth and Ghosts.
Hooray, ghosts!
And I have a sound clip that Adam will have with me for because I'm gonna play it on the phone. Let me try it.
Temme! Oh, yeah.
Could you hear that?
Just barely.
Yeah, so this is when they go to a haunted house or like a scary castle.
no, it's not a haunted house, it was a hotel.
It's not
Okay,
even a
never-
haunted house.
Never mind.
It's just a mansion, you know.
This
And
is gonna be a recurring theme with me. I basically never know what happens. So they went to a regular hotel.
I mean, like it was like a what we would call an Airbnb now. Like it was the mansion, but it was a hotel.
And the characters opened and they had the best welcome. So I'm going to try to sum up the story, how I understood it. So they go on holiday to the beach. They get into this scary house with these weird characters. And then a bunch of shit goes down, which I couldn't comprehend. Somebody gets possessed. Then they fight it with makeup. And somehow it ends well. And
that sounds about right, yeah.
I have one more clip from this show. Let's listen and let's tell me what do you think it is.
Fuck. Don't.
Like, sounds like weird transformation, like battle cry or something
Yeah,
like
you got it. So this is when they transform into their superpower costumed like characters
So this one's Sailor Moon transforms.
with the power of makeup.
that. Yeah.
And the character is screaming Mercury power, which means
No, she says moon prism power.
oh really?
Yeah. She has a prism. Her brooch is a prism. She's moon prism of power.
Oh, never mind.
I hear that. I hear also Mercury power. I don't know.
She says, "Man, prism of power." And she says makeup because I told you she's a reincarnation of herself. So they put on their makeup, but their makeup is they turn into their
so
old
it's like
selves.
a superhero that transforms into a super costume by applying makeup, and super costumes with a sailor uniform. It's
So maybe I can explain it better. In the comic book, they explain it more. And since you all would never watch it or read it, it doesn't matter if I spoil it. So basically, every planet and every celestial body in the whole universe has like its own soul. And these sailor soldiers are the souls of those planets and celestial bodies, and that's how they get their power. And they're supposed to protect their own planet and their own things. And so a long time ago, they were killed in a battle. And one of them, like the mother of the main character, sacrificed herself into this big, like the place where everything in the universe is made and goes back to. She said, "I'll stay here if you give them their life back." So she sacrificed themselves, and they are reborn as humans. And the only way that they can, get their power is that they transform into their old selves, but they can't stay that way. So that's it's nonsense how they transform, but that's what they're doing. They're just turning back into their old selves before they died. So they actually are supposed to look very different. That's why, when people see them, they're not like, "Oh, that's Usagi, I know who that is." Like we can see what they look like, but other people can't tell what they look like. They look different. So, yeah.
thank you. Wish you could see my face now.
So now it makes sense why they are called after planets and like the
Yeah.
moons. Yeah. 'Cause I had really no idea like why and how do they have these like automated like clothing replacement powers or whatever in the first place. So now I understand a little bit more. Thank you.
I just didn't dare to ask why.
But even the monsters and things, like in the story, actually every single monster, everything that they fight, they all come from the same force. And it's basically every light that was born. Not everything can be light. Something is like darkness. So there's this one being that's like called Sailor, I forgot, Sailor Chaos or something, and they couldn't be born a star. So she was very jealous, and so she wanted to destroy all the other stars. So that's what the whole story for 200 episodes or 20 comics they're leading up to, is this being that wants to get rid of all the stars because it can't be a star. That's what it is.
All right.
So,
All right.
well,
Alrighty then.
That actually sounded really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I am withholding any comments. So, if you wanted to describe this show in 5 words or less, what would you say?
who, me?
Everybody. So,
Yeah, I want to hear it.
so I would say, makeup power.
Hey, that's 5 words or less.
No, yeah, or
no,
less.
I get it. Or less. Okay. well, I think I already said it. It's like a bunch of schoolgirls transforming. In 5
that
words.
works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's like Pokemon with transforming girls.
Okay.
No, they're not catching anything, but it's the same style of show, basically.
So it's more like Digimon. It's like they're, empowering themselves and then turning back again, right? I'm so sorry.
I don't know how to describe it in 5 words. Let's say,
You can say
I don't know.
a show that's close to my heart.
The moon is a schoolgirl.
I like that one. The moon is a Oh, that word.
That's okay.
That's too many words, right?
No, that's like schoolgirls. One word. It's okay.
If you get a few more, it's okay. I just meant like a short. I meant to say once.
Actually, I like that one. That's what I'm gonna go with. The moon is a schoolgirl.
Well, that's good. Schoolgirl power.
Schoolgirl.
I like how you say it. Schoolgirl power.
Yeah.
So one last note, we watched another episode with Chan that consisted of a demon possessing a tennis racket and then having a demon fight at the tennis court with a possessed tennis racket shooting lasers, and a guy jumped out of it and was very handsome, and they fell in love with him, and then they... I don't... I was,
Okay.
The way you explain it makes no sense.
This is
I'm
how
not gonna try to fix
this
it.
is what I saw. So this is what happens in this show.
That's very original.
I'm lost for words. Like this is.
So that's my take. So I like that episode.
Okay. Definitely sounds bizarre enough so that like I would enjoy probably.
So next up is Hellsing Ultimate. Martin chose that. Started in 2001. Episodes are much longer.
Wait. Wrong.
Okay.
First sentence already wrong. Then.
Okay, I'll just shut up again.
It's not 2001. It's 2006. 2001 was the original Hellsing, and that's another story. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
No, that's all. I just meant to like introduce it, and now you talk. So what is it?
All right. Well, I've prepared a short script for the setup. So I'm just gonna read it. So bear with me. I'm gonna try my best. This is the setup. This is the thing of the story. Like this is what gets you in. And then I'm gonna talk about all the bullshit that there's in. But
Okay,
the setup
go on.
is like this. Imagine Britain. Quite modern times, like end of the 20th century. But imagine it really gloomy and dark. Do you have it? Sure, I'll take that. Now imagine, in this world, there are vampires trying to bring chaos and destruction and generally enjoy themselves while doing it. But
Scottish now.
there's a bad... I don't know, I'm not English, I'm trying my best here. Come on. Shut up. Shut up, class. Deme! Ksama! Okay. But there is an organization. The Hellsing, founded by Dr. Van Helsing himself, and currently run by Sir Integra Furbrook Wingate Helsing. A strong, independent gentlewoman with all her skill points in charisma, management, and sword fighting. Okay, this is good. Good luck cutting all this, I guess.
It's not going to cut it out. It's perfect.
Okay, moving on. The Hellsing family has been protecting the British crown from all supernatural threats for centuries. And of course, with such a long history, they've become quite good at it. And, because they're British, really smug about it, you know? They're the best. But thanks for asking, how are they the best, you ask? Well, you see, they have a secret weapon. A weapon unlike anything that has walked this earth. They have Alucard, who I can only describe as a constantly grinning, immortal killing machine vampire who is always, under all circumstances, the coolest and most smug dude in the neighborhood. which is to say a lot because like the level of cool in all the main characters in Hellsing is like through the roof. So yeah, bear with me. Like it's more than through the roof. It's like off the charts. It's through the moon. It's to the Sailor Moon and beyond. Okay. I'm on a tangent. Moving on.
My face hurts from laughing.
I got too loud because the neighbors.
Bear with me. It's just one more paragraph or two. I don't know.
Or 7.
The Hellsing family has their competition, namely the Iscariot organization ran by the Christian Church from Vatican itself. And they have their own aces up their sleeve. One of which... Oh, come on. One of which is a lore-spouting, monster-killing battle priest who has powers on par with Alucard himself, and an unrelenting ego to add to it. These organizations have been at each other's throats for who's the best at hunting monsters for some while. But there's also a new, looming threat over them all, which aims to destroy the world as we know it, and bring new order through chaos. And that's where I'll cut it, because like if I continue I'll spoil too much. Yeah, that's the story. That's the setup. If you're interested, oh thank you. If you're interested, go for it. Hellsing Ultimate.
They get you like it because it's stylish and action-packed.
Yeah, it's full of action. It has really iconic styles. Unique characters I've seen like in a long while. Mm-hmm. And it's really like okay, don't stone me now, but like especially Adam, like it has really good English dubbing. It really does, and that's why I liked it as when I was like smaller, or when I was like 15 when I watched it first, because it was this like perfect way to get into anime without actually like watching it in Japanese. And also like when I watched it like recently, the Japanese is really shit in this one. Like I'm sorry, but the Japanese dubbing just doesn't fit the setting at all. Like it's set in Britain, so that's one thing why you want this to be English dubbed. And the English dubbing does very, very good job with the voice actors. There are some cringe moments, but like it's not that bad. And also, like if you watch the English dubbing, you will be spared like the Japanese voice actors trying to really hard recite phrases from Bible in English. And that's just unbearable.
It sounds like the part I'm going to think.
It's not like the voice actors are bad in the Japanese version. They're really good. But you have this like lore-spouting battle priest, right? This like educated man who's from Vatican, who basically grown up with a Bible in hand. And he cannot say an English phrase for the love of his life. Like he cannot speak English at all, but because the voice actor just doesn't know what he's doing, right? So that just completely breaks up like the feeling about the character. So that's why I would recommend the English one, even though the other parts like of the English, like the supporting voice actors are not that great. But the main roles have really good voice actors in English, and they fit the setting really well. So yeah, that's gonna be end of my rant about dubbing. Okay. But please, if you want to watch it in dubbing.
Well, I can say that as you mentioned about the dubbing, I generally prefer the Japanese voices. But that goes for newer shows. Before 2010, English voice acting was much better for anime, in my opinion. And Hellsing is definitely one of those that are way better in English. Significantly so. I don't think the Japanese dubbing is very good. At the very best, it's horribly miscast. It's awful. I really like the style of Hellsing. Mm-hmm. Like the art style is very unique and very cool.
I think that's why it became famous. That's I think the same.
That's definitely part of it. There are other works from the author that have very similar style that are nowhere near as famous.
Like, I only know of Drifters, and they were really good.
Drifters are the other famous one that got an anime, or semi-famous.
Yeah.
Nothing else comes to mind from him.
Okay.
And yeah, I really like the names. Since they didn't translate those, the original author came up with these, and they're just the coolest. As Martin says, the Integra Fairbrook Wingates Hellsing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Or Ceres Victoria. That's amazing.
Sounds like a mishmash of German and Japanese and English.
And they tend to repeat them on and on and on, as if they were really enjoying saying them.
Sounds like they do. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's very stylish and stylized. To some degree, it's over stylized and too dragged out to my taste. Like some of the fight scenes, I feel like were too long. Like they like indulge into slow motion bullets, blood squirting out and everything.
I would agree with that. It's really gory, like in the style that it's too much gore. But if you like that kind of thing, it's not. It's the thing that you don't watch with your family, like for sure.
The majority of time was spent on drawing the like cut up bodies and all the gore, and shiny glasses is the like iconic thing of this show.
I gotta say,
Yes.
there's too many shiny glasses. Like, I like the random shiny glasses, but there are too many.
More shiny glasses. Give me more.
But I want to say,
Okay.
I Philip was gonna cut me off. I wanted to say, even though I showed you all like Sailor Moon, I actually have lots of different genres of animes that I like and manga, including I like vampire stuff and whatnot. Like, I was really big into Vampire D, like the original and the one that came out later. And also I like dark animes, like if you'll not the anime, but I like the manga of Berserk. If you all know what that is, that's dark. That's dark.
Beautiful. Yeah. Berserk.
So I like Hellsing again. I like the English dub, like you all said. I usually think English dub is absolute shit, especially if it's American. It's awful. But this one was really nice. I think in just English, it worked. They actually found people that could do it well, and like you said, it fits the setting. I can't imagine it in Japanese working very well at all. So that part was nice, but I don't like so much gore sometimes. And I know I just said I love Berserk, but in the manga, manga is black and white, so I can deal with the blood and gore, but I can't always deal with it when it's in color. So it kind of makes me a little bit queasy. Like, they don't do anything that's too gross, but it's just that there's so much that I'm like, ugh, like I need a break. But other than that, like, I think it was, enjoyable. It is a little slow sometimes for me, but
how many episodes did you watch? Did you watch the first one, or
I just watched in the first one, but I had a long time ago seen a little bit more, but I forgot the story. I even told Philip, like, I'd watched it like around the time when it came out, and then but I didn't finish it, and so I'd seen a little bit already.
Yeah.
So
I agree that the story can drag on a lot. Like, in those fights, especially, they really like to focus on their gore and stuff, and it like fills half of the episode. And I personally like it, but I get that for some people it might be a little bit too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say some of the fight scenes have really, really like indulging over long like movements, and I want to show you one example. I have a sound clip. Let's listen to this. It's the very start of the very first episode. Like, something happens. So during this whole time, what do you think happened?
was that when he was reanimated?
No. This is just when he pointed a gun. And I was
when he points the gun at the priest.
Yeah. So I was very taken aback by the music, because this music, in my opinion, doesn't fit the scene at all. It's like this bass guitar.
The music is like the best setting there is. Like, because the story and the show itself doesn't really take itself too seriously, which cannot be seen from the first episode that much. But as the episodes move on, it gets more and more maniacal and bizarre. And you know that the authors know that it gets maniacal and bizarre, and they enjoy it. So
if that's the appeal,
basically,
then it's great.
The music is a great way to introduce this bizarreness and sarcasm that's underneath the dark and serious story. Yeah.
It's just really funny to me that he's just pulling out the gun and pointing it, and it takes a minute, and there's this whole soundtrack to it, and then he finally points it. It sounds like a sword. It's like. So that's not over stylized. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but it's a bit over the top. Yeah, I agree.
I don't mind it being over the top, but I think sometimes it overstays its welcome. I get it's over stylized. I get it's a fun, cheesy thing, but it's too long. I just get it on with the gun. I really like. But anyway, one more clip, just quickly. So this was a scene where a new character in the second episode somehow either did a motion so fast we couldn't see it, or he was invisible. This is exactly what I mean when I watch anime. I don't have any idea what happened. A guy in a white suit, I think, appeared, and he something shined, and there was a line that cut through somebody, and blood and guts squirted out, and he was looking smug in the background or in the foreground. And I didn't understand anything that happened.
But what's there not to understand? That's just his power. He's so quick that you can't see him.
So he actually went there and did it. He wasn't invisible.
No, he's not invisible. He's just too quick for the human eye.
Yeah. That's So that's a thing that happens in the show. I thought this might have been one of the shows that made this stereotype popular. You pull out the sword and put it back in, and it's so fast somebody gets cut off that you don't even see it.
I always thought that this was started in samurai movies and samurai based anime.
But I mean, this is what made it really popular, maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And also the stereotype that when you cut somebody, the fountain of blood starts spraying everywhere. I think that's very iconic in this show. So what did you think?
I think like you said, it's slow, it's over dramatic, and nothing happening. You watch the one episode which has 40 minutes, and what happened? One man drove his gun and fired two magazines. I don't know. He killed some monsters, and that was all. You can put that in 5 minutes. You don't need 40 minutes.
I would have to agree with that, unfortunately. Some conversation happened, and somebody went somewhere, and then he died and got resurrected and stuff. But
he was already dead.
But he was already dead, so it doesn't matter.
So actually, nothing happened. Because he was already dead. Some girl became a vampire.
Yeah, the girl became a vampire. That happened.
Okay, she was only good thing in this episode.
Yeah, so if you like blood, definitely recommend it.
Very well summed up. If you like blood, watch this show.
No, that's what I wanted to say now. So how would you describe this in 5 words?
That should be yours.
That's not mine. Okay, any ideas?
Okay, well, I've got 5 words. That's gory, cheesy, international badass wars.
That's good.
I was gonna say guns and vampires, like Guns N' Roses.
No.
Guns and vampires.
That sounds like what it is.
Yep.
Boring, overdramatic bullshit.
You just stabbed Martin in the heart.
Burn. Maybe it's good to be recording this separate.
Martin, what? How can you say that?
Maybe this should
I'm
be like
sorry, but I can't lie.
maybe this should be like a voice message, like conversation. I'll send him this message and let him reply, and then put it in the podcast.
He'll just say, "What? How can you say that? I totally disagree."
Okay. Mine would be overindulgent bloodbath.
Also very good, yes.
And I will go with concentrated badassery in class.
Oh, so much class, yeah.
Yeah, one more thing we talked about when we watched it was that I was surprised how Japan is somehow obsessed with Christianity, churches and priests, because also Black Lagoon, which we are going to talk about, has like nuns and priests, and yeah, it's very strange to me, like the idea of Christian things being like magical and special and different.
I think it's like the contrast with us being fascinated by Japanese culture. Like it's something completely different from their culture, so that they flock to it and they are interested in how it works. So I think it's vice versa to our
to see it from the other side.
Interest in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
What did you learn from it?
Oh yeah, we didn't say what did you learn from Sailor Moon.
Oh, I told you I learned that girls could be like tough and all that stuff.
Okay.
But what did you learn, Martin?
I think I've learned, because this was basically my first adult focused anime. I learned that anime is not equal to like cartoons for children, and that it can have dark and gloomy and sometimes even political subtones and a lot of gore and violence. And that's what I've learned from Hellsing, and it got me on this path of weird, gory, violent anime like Berserk. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
Like, if you don't want the dark and really like quite serious story that is in Hellsing Ultimate, and only want the cheesiness in it, watch Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. Okay, like if you never heard about that, it's like basically some fans did an abridged version of Hellsing Ultimate episodes, and they have every episode cut to about 20 to 30 minutes instead of the 50, and they are full jam-packed of like jokes and cheesiness and like. Basically, the cheesiness that is in Ultimate, they've taken that and multiplied it with 100, and just crazy. Like, watch the first episode, and if you like, if you don't like Ultimate, but like the jokes there, watch Ultimate Abridged. Beautiful.
Abridged.
I like abridged. Abridged sounds fine.
Yeah, that's the
abridged
that's
sounds
from
like
my,
you're obliged to watch it.
Obliged, yeah, obliged. You're obliged. Much obliged. Thanks.
It's the brand name of the week. Get ready, it will be weird.
Oh, excuse me. Well, I'm a retired magician, and I just don't have any more good tricks up my sleeve. My hands and things these days, they're a little shaky.
Are you a tired magician? Is your throat not what it used to be? Our company caters to senior retired professionals. Daggers too sharp? Forget about it. Fire's too hot? Forget about it. Chains go down and easy, and so do scarves. But forget about it. Swallow a chain instead. Add swallow chain.
Swallow chain.
What?
Swallow chain.
Swallow chain.
Swallow chain.
So next up is a show from Peter. Black Lagoon started in 2006, 20-minute episodes, and it's a very action-packed show. We watched one episode again.
Black Lagoon is a mercenary company.
Oh, like hired guns.
Yes.
So do you like it because of the action or because of the story or the characters?
Of course, I like the action, the music, the intro, or the action is fast, aggressive, brutal. They don't pull gun 10 minutes. They don't. Rabbit don't need. Rabbit don't need 10 minutes to kill 20 people. She only needs like 20 seconds. She's killing machine. She's fucking killing machine, and she's enjoying it. It's fun to watch her.
We talked about how there are nuns and guns. Is it true? Are the nuns shooting people?
In this anime, yes.
So what I got from it is that there was a lot of action that was very unconventional, and the characters were kind of unusual. There's a character who speaks with a speaker on his throat, and
It's a trick for if you get a trick, you put this thing
I
to
don't know
your
what
throat.
that's called.
Yeah, like if you get a hole in your throat, you put it to your.
Okay. The only other place where I saw it was in a movie called Ong Bak, which is about Thai boxing. We watched that.
Yeah, he had a trick.
Yeah. So what did you think about Black Lagoon?
I've only watched the Battle Royale episode, like the 3 episodes that Peter has recommended. So I'm not familiar with it that much, but I'd say it's really an anime that's up my alley because it has a lot of action, it has good music, it has good characters. It has nuns who always misquote the Bible. It's beautiful. Really cheesy dialogues. It's quite similar to the Hellsing in some ways, I would say. Mm-hmm. But it has more like badass women and more guns, and it's more focused on I would say the story and the development of the characters than Hellsing. Like it's not that stylized. It's not that over stylized like Hellsing is.
Okay.
But it's basically gun porn.
Yeah, it's a lot of guns and a lot of action, and very unexpected things happen in the fights and during the story and all that. That's what I enjoyed. I specifically liked 2 scenes in these 3 episodes we watched. One of them sounded like this. It's a scene where one of the bad characters, I guess, or one of the people that they fight with, deflects bullets with a chainsaw. Which was very original.
Oh yeah, this part.
So I didn't expect that. And the second action scene, this happened. So there was a guy with a flamethrower, and she was shooting at him, and then she shot the gas tank, and he started flying up as a fireworks, and then he shot him again, and she shot his belly, and it exploded in guts and blood, and then it pierced the belly all the way through to the gas tank, and then he exploded like fireworks. So I didn't expect that at all.
Yes.
High quality scene.
Action is fun and characters are fun and original, like you said.
I get why Peter likes this show, because he likes stuff like that. Anything else, Adam?
I've seen it. I've actually watched it before. I haven't finished it. I think Peter recommended episodes from the second season or second half of the first season, something like that. I've seen most of the first season. I haven't seen this part. I really like it. It's a bit over the top, but the characters are great, very badass. The action is really good.
I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot to say.
Yeah, that's a lot to say. And usually for like anime, there are a lot of guns used correctly, mostly correctly. In a sense, it's almost feels Western,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
it's distinctly Japanese.
I would agree.
I really enjoyed all the because it takes place in a city of thieves and murderers and such. They all have these cool nicknames. That was really fun, and the nicknames are all in English, and the Japanese voice actors try to pronounce them, and it sounds really fun. Like I wrote down the Litten Divisado.
Can you say that again?
Beautiful.
Litten Divisado.
Thanks.
This one I also saw a bit in the past, but like because of my brothers, because they watch things like Black Lagoon or like Cowboy Bebop and other things. But I don't know. I don't like this episode that he chose. Like this one, I think is very draggy. But other things that I'd seen in the past, I thought it was kind of a fun show. Like I like this, like how you all said, how I don't know the type of town, like how they're just like everybody's just a little bit bad. Like it's over the top, but it's kind of a little bit more realistic. Where in most like animes, is like no one's mentioned about being, you know, sort of bad people unless that's just like the focus itself of like the anime. Like I don't know, like I kind of like that they're not so high class or anything. It's enjoyable, like the action itself or like what they say. Yeah, it's fun, but I just don't like this episode. I always thought it was just kind of boring, but I think the anime is okay in general.
Alright. So how would you describe this in 5 words or less?
Guns and nuns.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Guns and nuns.
Yeah.
I would call this nuns, flamethrowers, and guts.
Badass woman with bad attitude.
I mean, I was gonna say the guns and nuns, basically.
Killing. And killing blood and more killing.
How about like since they have a bunch of guns and they like drinking and stuff, I'd say booze and ooze. Ooze comes from Uzis, like a.
We were to say boozies and oozies.
Yeah, it kind of works.
But then it sounds like boobies. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing I hate. One thing I really hate about anime is upskirt shots.
Well,
so
that's
subscribe,
there too, so,
subscribe, surprise.
You just now reminded me. Philip's not gonna like this, but you guys probably know this exists. There's an umbrella in Japan you can buy. If you open it, it looks like you're looking up the skirt
God,
of an
yeah, I saw
anime
that.
Japanese character.
I haven't seen that before. Okay. That doesn't surprise me
Oh,
in the
why am I not
slightest.
surprised? That's
That's a trope I
beautiful.
really hate, and there was a surprise upskirt shot in Black Lagoon, so I didn't appreciate that. They tried to hide it, they tried to play it off as a thing that actually happened, but no, I saw through it. It was an actual upskirt, like, perf shot.
Do you all know about the secret upskirt shot that's in the Pokemon opening for like a half millisecond? Like if you really slow down the video. Yeah, like when Pikachu runs underneath the girl's like skirt, like if you like everybody was all about it like in the past. If you like really slow it down frame by frame, like there's just one little itty bitty like frame, and yeah, you see a lot of stuff that you didn't know
I don't want to
was
see
there as a child. Yeah, just fun fact.
I'm trying really hard not to write on my keyboard right now to be right. So.
So next show is Nichijou. That's my pick. It's from 2006, 20-minute episodes. Very short. And I will describe it as like Japanese version of everyday Monty Python. That's why I like it, because it's very nonsensical and like jovial and like very absurd, but at the same time very mundane, and it's very hit and miss. So there's so many sketches in an episode, so much happens, and nothing happens really, and there's no story really. But the good thing is that if you don't like parts of it, they just end quickly. So, so to me, this show is a horrible mix of like really funny things and things I don't really get, and I'm very bored with, and I don't understand what's happening. But somehow it works, and it works like a sketch show. The best thing to describe this, and that's also my like 3-word description, is mundane Japanese madness. This is it's like everyday school life, but what actually goes in people's heads happens in the show, which can be very amusing. I think a very similar thing we have in Czech culture. There is a movie, book, show called... Do you know what I was going to say?
No.
In the show, there's a famous quote that there is a pile of donuts or cakes on a table, and when people look at it, there are 2 types of people. One type of people think about throwing the cakes at other people's faces, and the second type of people, they throw the cakes and they start a food fight. Do you know which book it is?
That didn't help at all.
Nope. No clue.
It's Saturnin.
Oh.
I didn't watch that.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's like
That's a bit old.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm too old. But it's a famous thing, and I think this is the same gist of this show. Like, if you look at something, what would actually happen if it went mad, like bonkers? So that's what happens in this show. So we all watched like a few clips I chose. So anybody wants to say what happened?
Which clips did you choose? Because I saw everything.
The goat and the dogs.
The goat is my favorite.
Yeah, the goat is great.
Yeah.
I also like the card house, but the goat is amazing.
So what happens is that one of the characters, she's drawing like very inappropriate sexual
She's doing
comics.
yaoi. That's boys' love.
Yeah, basically gay porn. And it's about her schoolmates. And she's really into it, and she's like drawing it, but she draws it in secret, and nobody can see it. And in one of the scenes, somehow she gets into a situation where somebody might see it, and she gets into such an extent to make sure they don't see it, that she suplexes a goat. So there's like somebody picks it up and they want to look at it, but she jumps and just throws them on the ground. And then, for some reason, this guy who wanted to pick it up has a pet goat or something, and she jumps on the goat and just throws it and flips it and slams it on the ground. That's the type of insane stuff that happens in this show. Another scene we watched was with the dogs, where this sound happens. So this is when they encounter a bunch of very, very cute dogs, and they are very scared of them, and then their friends come and they say, "It's fine, just cute dogs. They will not bite you." And then they keep freaking out because they're gonna bite them, and then one of the dogs does this sound. So basically the dog bites one of the characters and like an atom bomb explodes. She shoots a laser from her eyes and face and mouth, and she just demolishes the whole city because it hurts so bad when a dog bites you.
He had a cute bite clump.
Yep. That's the sound. Like. Another thing I want to say is I had a very terrifying realization of snot bubbles. Because in the shows, many anime shows, but this one especially, when a character sleeps, they have a white bubble like blowing up and down next to their face, and I was like, what is this? Yeah. And we figured it out. It's because they never blow their nose, and when they finally fall asleep, a snot bubble appears because they don't know to wear of them, and they just exhale and inhale, and it moves the flop bubble. That's why. That's how it started. It's horrible.
Well, thanks for ruining snot bubbles for me.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I meant to say. And a bunch of sounds. It's an simulator. All the is in this show.
I mean, that's just That's just Japan. That's not this specific anime.
I think it's the most in this show I've ever seen or heard in any show.
Well, there's a specific character on the show that specifically, basically, only does the is only.
Let's listen to a clip. So this is what you hear basically all the time.
That was a compilation, no?
It was a compilation from just one scene.
yeah, it was one scene.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene. Yeah,
That was a scene that
good
Adam
one.
sent me actually after I already watched it, and it's a scene where they go to try soba that you catch with your chopsticks while it's sliding down a tube or like a gutter or something.
No, it was not a gutter. It was a bamboo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that thing! I actually saw that one.
It's like a thing you can experience in a Japanese restaurant where they have like a bamboo gutter.
A cutout. Yeah, I guess it's like a gutter.
And water is flowing through it, like near the table, and they send noodles like flowing down the stream through this like bamboo trunk, and you're supposed to catch them and pick them up with your chopsticks. And she heard that there is a new restaurant that she can experience it in, and she went to this like place, and there was an old lady who just peeked out of the window, threw down the bamboo, and just sent like random things down the thing, and she couldn't deal with it, and just kept being surprised. So, what do you have to say, or do you have to say anything?
I mean, the show speaks for itself.
Okay.
That's what I have to say.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, that was worst. Nothing. I don't want to see that anymore. All the time, I don't know what happened.
So you're not alone. Like we also don't know.
Well, like before, I've seen like half of the season. I didn't finish it. I tried to finish it, but honestly, as Filip said, parts of it are really freaking boring.
Mm-hmm.
And between these parts are extremely memorable and hilarious scenes.
Yeah,
But over time, I feel like there's less of these scenes and more of the boring scenes. It gets a little bit repetitive despite being really funny.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
And creative, like this. Exactly. There is this scene. There is the scene where the principal wrestles a deer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or when the girl that draws the BL manga chases the other girl who took the notebook with like machine guns and rockets and I don't know what. It is hilarious stuff. And then there is stuff that's like horribly boring.
I feel like it might be because we don't get the cultural like thing. Because some of the things we like get as people who experience the same, like when she goes to the coffee shop and she orders a cafe. In a cafe she orders a coffee. Sorry.
Give me one cafe, please.
And she kept saying, "This is exactly how I feel like." She's like, "Give me like venti or like tall or like I don't know like espresso," and she has no idea what it means. This is what I felt like when I went to Starbucks for the first time. Why would they call a big cup tall or venti or something? Like, so we get that, but sometimes they have some kind of a Japanese thing. Like, for instance, I didn't understand where they put the broccoli in the bicycles. Like they stole a saddle, and they stole.
Stole a saddle. Stole a saddle. Okay.
They just took a shit.
Sorry, my English is not working. What happens? They steal a saddle and they put the broccoli instead of the saddle. Do you know why?
I have no idea.
It's funny.
This is like a thing that people do if they wanna spite somebody in Japan. They steal their saddles because it's very easy to do, and they just put broccoli or some kind of vegetable there just to make them angry. It's a thing that happens all the time in Japan. So if you don't know that, you can't see the joke, which plays on that because they placed the broccoli, and then they like kept replacing things with other things. And I was like, why are they doing this? But the joke was that they like steal things from people and they put more ridiculous things for the things they stole, and then the other person stole that thing and replaced it with a more ridiculous thing, and they kept putting these vegetables somewhere. I was like, what is this about? And then somebody told me that this is a joke that school children really like to do, that they steal something, they put a vegetable there. So if you don't know that, it doesn't really, it cannot be funny.
Well, one more thing to know about Japanese culture. And you're right, like it's hard to laugh about this if you don't actually know what's going on. I don't know. I think you've said like most of the things that I wanted to say. It's like basically I can say this like weird story. Like this is an anime that's not my cup of tea at all. It doesn't have any plot. It doesn't have any context. It doesn't really explain anything. Like I have no idea what's going on. I basically in this anime I share the Filip's vision of not having any idea what's in this anime, and like
So happy you know how I feel.
I don't know, like first episode, which is what I watched, and then I watched like the few clips that you sent me, so I don't have much of a sample size, but like first episode, not even 3 minutes in, like girl with a wind-up key on her back, chasing a cat, trips and falls, cut the huge cinematic explosion. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Exactly.
Why is there an explosion? Why is this girl having a wind-up key on her back? Well, that explains later, but basically no context given at all in the rest of the episode for most of the stuff that happened, and that's just, I don't know. It some of the scenes are fun, but most of the times I just look at it and I have no idea what's going on, and it's not that funny for me. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
I absolutely understand and agree with that, but at the same time I was somehow able to have a lot of fun with it, so that's a good thing.
One comment on it is just like how I said about like Sailor Moon, how the comics are very different. I think the problem with Nichijou, like the anime, is that it's really, really, really abridged. Like how they tell you what day it is. Like how there's multiple clips, but maybe it says day 39 and it's like day 57. In the comic books, they have all the days, so it's like more kind of together. Like there actually is a story, but like they chose some what they thought were funnier parts to put into the anime. So actually, yes, it doesn't make any sense in the anime, but like it's kind of fun. But like if you actually read the comic, like for instance the girl that's doing all the drawings, like there's a whole story behind it, and even like the true ending of Nichijou, like she actually gets a chance, like wins a contest, and she's about to become an actual manga artist, and she's trying to choose like if she wants to do it or not. So there's just a bunch of missing pieces.
so why is this not in the anime? That would be interesting.
I have no idea. It's just like with Elf and Lade, if you all ever watch that, like they just cut it off. They just cut it off.
Yeah,
they don't even finish it. So like stuff like that. It's just one of those things where they just like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
So
Wanna know more? Read the manga.
exactly. What did you learn?
I learned actually something. I learned that it could be very joyful to see life in a Nichijou way. Because there's so much stuff going on, and you ignore, and if you don't ignore it and imagine what it could mean, or how it would be, it just shows you how to have a lot of fun without having anything really. You can just enjoy life more, like they do in Nichijou.
This is some thought of the day material right here.
5 words for summing up, or less than. No, let me think about it for a bit. I'll go last.
So I actually have some prepared.
Okay.
But it's quite generic, but basically random Japanese bullshit without context.
Yep.
Oh wait, I got one. That's what it is. It's my 5 words.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with Salamapagi.
What does that mean?
It's set in the show.
Is it?
Yes. They greet each. The one of the girls greets them with
Okay.
Salamapagi.
Yeah. And then she like ignores her and she's
They
like,
ignore
did you
her
hear what I said?
completely.
They ignore her hardcore.
Okay. Does it mean anything?
She was just like, I think one of the things she said was like just something like another language, and she was just saying random crap to see if they would know this.
Yeah. Right.
Weird girls doing weird shit.
Okay. Mundane Japanese madness.
Let him talk. Let the man speak about girls on Panzer. I can't say it.
Go ahead.
Alright, so I recommended Girls und Panzer. Let me give a bit of context first. In recent years, well, at least this decade, there has been this trend of shows that's generally summed up as cute girls doing cute things.
Yeah.
And this is offshoot of that. Usually you have, I don't know, cute girls drawing manga, making video games, fishing, or in this case, they are driving World War II tanks and battling each other. Because that makes sense.
Totally normal.
Yeah, so basically the world where it takes place is a sort of modern sort of setting, bit fictional, but there is this thing, it's called Sen Shadow. It's a girl sport, specifically, where girls ride tanks. It's like a school club kind of thing. Yeah. And so the main character who comes from like this family that's famous for their style of Sen Shadow, she doesn't really like their style. She joins different schools. She doesn't want to really get into Sen Shadow for reasons that are explained later. And they take advantage of her heritage and have her join their Sen Shadow team and battle other schools. It's funny in a way that it takes itself just enough seriously to not break immersion, and doesn't really it does a good job of avoiding the difficult questions, like why does nobody die when they are shooting live ammo at each other. It's fine, it's perfectly safe. So I really like the absurd angle of it all. It's amazing. It's hilarious. There are a ton of Easter eggs that you don't necessarily notice most of them, but they are all there. Like character birthdays being on important dates of World War II, invasion of Russia or Ardennes.
Okay. Didn't notice that at all.
They do mention it. They do mention the days in the first episode of the two side characters, the friends of Miho.
Okay.
They mentioned their birthdays, and it's the date of invasion of Russia and date of the Battle of Ardennes. Just by the way.
Clever.
And as for the battles themselves, there are schools, different schools, and they basically represent each of the factions or countries in World War II. So they are the British, the Russians, the Italians, and they are all total stereotype of the country. They only drive their own tanks, wear their uniforms, march to their songs, and all that. For example, the British, who appear in the first episode, are all named after teas.
Yeah, that's the best part about it.
That's awesome.
There are like Easter eggs like this everywhere. It's brilliant. I love it.
Okay.
Yes, St. Gloriana British School is the best.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, to be honest. I was perplexed, and I didn't know what to like. I tried very hard not to be annoyed, and I was very annoyed.
But why? Why?
But I can say why. Like when Philip is finished, I know why.
You just say it.
For me, it's not the show itself. Like I love cute girls doing cute things, stuff like.
I hate it so much.
I like, for instance, like I think Strawberry Panic and like those kinds of things. Like I think it's so cute, but this one, I just hate the main character. I hate her so fucking much. I can't stand this bitch. I like she is like the stereotypical like weakest person like I never want to meet in real life, or like all I could spend all day doing is just talking about how weak and nonsensical they are, that they can't like make simple, like very simple like decisions about their own life. So I don't like her. The other characters I thought was kind of, just kind of fun, like interesting. Like I like those types, but even here's a prime example. This girl says she chose this school because it didn't have this, the tank thing, like this particular like sport activity. She didn't want to do anything with it whatsoever. Why at the end of the first episode it zooms out, they're on a freaking giant ass ship. You can't tell me you thought that this place had nothing to do with this military stuff, and you're on a fucking giant ass military looking boat. What? I can't deal with her logic. I can't deal with her weakness. I can't deal with her. I can't stand her. But everything else is okay.
Well, I think in this world, like every school
every school has its own ship.
Basically designated
just
to a
on
ship.
So. Okay, but
Yeah.
but still, in general, the fact she couldn't even say no, just fucking say no.
That's stupid. They
What?
don't really mention it again, but it is kind of like the plot demands it has to happen.
Yeah,
I think it's basically
I
like
get it, though.
the stereotype of you have this struggle, you don't want to do something, and then like this struggle to overcome this like anxiety is what basically her development is. So that's, I guess it's quite basic idea, but it works.
Yeah, I don't mind just even the fact she couldn't say no, but it was like the how she couldn't say no. Let's take like if she was like more serious about it and she was like really having this dilemma and she was just kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can really do this. But she's like, should I, no, maybe, should it, but what? Stop it. I don't like that. I don't like the way in which she went about it. Just her. I don't like her. But the other girls I thought were kind of fun. Like her friends are kind of fun. And like there's some interesting characters popping up in the first. But yeah, just her.
Like cutesy girls doing cutesy things is the farthest it could ever be from my interest.
I love it though.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's so fun.
I was looking for the upskirt shot, and I haven't found it. Is it there?
No, I don't think
I
that.
think, they have skirts, but they don't have upskirt shots.
Yeah, so I approve very much so. They have my respect.
I just realized I know what anime I should have made y'all watch and I didn't. You all should have watched Is This a Zombie? That would have been a
Is it
good
with
one.
upskirts?
I've seen that.
There's a lot of interesting things going on in that.
I've heard of that, never seen it.
It's not just upskirt. It's upskirt, but not in the way that you think it's upskirt. Totally different.
I'm not sure if I finished it, but I've seen a bit of it, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
Yes, I've completed it, but I hated it, apparently.
Good to know.
But it's an interesting, just like to talk about on the podcast type of anime.
Okay,
That's all.
I guess so, yeah.
We can talk about it some other time. A few notes I have from watching it. I was very surprised about the sound effects and how contrasting they are with the cutesiness. It's the most realistic tank shot I've heard, and it when the projectile crashes the other tank, it sounds terrifying or something.
It's basically the definition of gap moe. Do you know what gap moe is?
No.
Well, you know what moe is?
No.
Does Shannon know what moe is?
Yes, but I want Philip to guess.
Okay, Philip, guess what moe is?
Just explain it.
It's pleasure.
Not pleasure. It's
it's pleasure for someone, I guess.
It's cuteness, basically.
Okay.
You would say that maybe the girls at the May Cafe, moe and something.
And
Okay.
get moe is moe created with two contrasting ideas.
I see.
So that's where you have the cute girls and the extremely realistic looking tanks and sound effects.
I wouldn't say the tanks look realistic, but yes.
The tanks are not terribly realistic. Depicted more or less realistically, but the sound effects are.
Wait, are you saying that you cannot have a warm cup of tea inside a tank?
I mean, I'm sure you could, but those things wouldn't be moving anywhere near as fast that they are moving in the anime.
That's true.
Those were some fast ass tanks.
That was. So I wanted to play. I have a sound of the shot. Let's listen to the shot of the tank. So, I like the aftermath of the crushing metal and stuff. Yeah, and then another thing struck me very strange how they have the battle discussions, the instructions in the tanks, you're gonna aim 70 degrees this direction to 100 meters there, and then we did this, blah, blah, blah. And they keep saying it in such a cutesy way, and then the people, the other girls in the tank who are in the team, they're hi, I hated that. I have one more clip of that. Well, not really that, but something similar, how they have battle talk before a battle.
各チームは100メートルほど前進したところで待機していてください。わかりました。はーい。了解。
I like the cute part. Like I said,
taken out of context, this sound a bit weird, but it makes perfect sense in the setting of the world.
It's they're 100 meters away. We're gonna shoot them dead. Hi,
the sound, their voices, I think are so cute.
Okay.
And the last bit of trivia, because the Japanese have, well, as we mentioned, they really like Christianity and that stuff. They also really like Germany.
Yeah.
So,
That's true,
as we said, the name is Groß und Panzer. Then there is a movie that's Groß und Panzer der Film. And then there is last season, and that's Das Finale.
I think that fits this show, yeah.
Yep, perfectly.
Finally, Groß und Panzer.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
The girls were too much cute, but I like the tanks, and the battle with tanks was fun. And you can learn something about tanks. About
how many cute girls can fit in one tank. Did you like the characters?
Not really.
Yeah.
They were not cool, but not so bad.
But you said you were going to watch it more, so.
Because in the next episode there will be international tournament with, I don't know, 64 teams or something like that.
Okay.
And that means more tank battles. And that's good. Less girly shit and more fighting.
What do you think about the speed of the tanks?
Of course they were fast, but if they were too slow, then action would be slow and boring. So
That's right, but the tanks move too fucking fast.
Oh gosh, then you'd be stuck with like cute girls doing cute things for like an hour before any action.
Thank God they're fast. I liked at the end of episode 3 or start of 4 or something, they almost ran a girl over with the tank. It was like a cliffhanger. But then something, I didn't understand who was who, obviously. So I didn't know if she was part of their team or not. And then they
needed a driver. I think they were only 4 girls and they need 5th girl. Simple.
And she looked like a copy of them. So as soon as she went in the tank, I didn't know which one. She blended in perfectly, because when she was outside, I knew it's the girl outside. But when they cut in them inside, I was like, it could be any of them. I don't know which one it is. So how would you summarize this in a few words?
Cute girls driving tanks is...
That's the obvious thing to say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
Tankery, the best girl sport.
I'd say tanks are fucking fast.
I definitely have to include immortal girls in the title. Immortal cute sea tanks.
You put like tanks are fucking fast. Immortality.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay.
Awesome tanks with not so awesome girls.
That's great. Great. I'm not sure what we accomplished by doing this 5-show roundup review something. I hope you had fun listening to this. I can't do this, but my guests can do this anytime. So if you want to listen and know about more anime shows, please let us know at mindduckjapan@gmail.com.
We shall do a spin-off.
Spin-off, yeah.
Yeah.
Mind Duck anime or what? Like,
but it's gonna be an anime tone. It's a Mind Duck anime.
はい、そうですよ。
The thought of the day.
So this time on Thought of the Day, I would like to describe my theory how the quality of movies and shows is manipulated by a steel line. So if you imagine watching a movie or a show or an anime, there is always a certain standard of quality. And you can imagine an exciting episode of a show where like the excitement goes up and down and there is a break, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But some shows are strangely average, and they have this like bar which they keep. And some shows do it too much, and some shows try to construct this like scaffolding, like supported like bar, which prevents the quality of the show to go down at any moment. And some shows get very good at this. And what they try to do is have a structure of the story so rigid that it cannot go bad. And when it goes bad, it bounces off of this like line, if you imagine like a horizontal graph. So the quality of the show tries to go down, but there's this like support steel bar that doesn't let the quality go down. It like bounces off of it and goes a little bit more up. And this happens in many, many modern shows. And then it causes it to be like slightly average and some slightly above average. And that's okay.
Do you have a clear example?
Yes. So,
Yeah.
of course.
So basically you're saying that the shows nowadays are playing it safe all the time and there's no innovation.
Yeah, and they're trying to make it like it's impossible for the show to fail. So their goal is not to make it interesting or like have something new and exciting. Their goal is just not to have it bad, anything but bad. Like average is okay, and if it's slightly above average, that's fine. And if we prevent it to be subpar, it's gonna bounce back up above average. The perfect example of this is The Purge. It's a series of movies and a television show where one day you can do any crime. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I know.
I've
about
seen one
I
of
haven't seen
the
the
movies.
first one, but the other
Yeah.
ones, yes.
I think this is like always 3 out of 5. Like this is the movie that defines 3 out of 5. Because it's always the same premise. They're gonna close the houses. There's gonna have one day where anything is legal, so people can kill each other. Shit's gonna go down. So you have a bunch of things that people can rely on. A bunch of characters are going to die. There's gonna be some action. There's a clear start and an end. And it doesn't really matter what happened. People are happy somebody died and things exploded. It's done. And it's always entertaining because some people you hate, some people you like. Some of them die, some of them don't. And that's always in there. So even if they film it badly, people are still going to enjoy this somehow. But so that's an example. But much more widespread thing is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they have the superheroes and villains. And they always have the same structure of the story. And they perfected this. They perfected the steel like barrier. They made it so hard that it's impossible to penetrate. So every movie that's made in Marvel tries to like have something, but then it fails. Like the story is not so interesting, so the quality starts going down, but it bounces off this like steel wall of nonsense.
What is their bar? You say that there's a bar, but what is the bar of Marvel?
I
The bar
think
is
that's
their
just-
superheroes?
that's just the brand.
Or there's
That's just the brand,
and the
right?
structure of the
It's-
story.
the brand is the okay.
Basically, it's Marvel, so it cannot be that bad,
Okay.
right?
I was thinking actually, as Filip was describing it, that the bar is the action, because it's very hard to mess up the action,
Yes.
especially when you have high
That's
budget.
true.
There is the hero and the
story
villain.
can be shit, but as long as you put enough action, evenly spaced out, you will never be like super bored. You'll be a bit bored and then between the action, but
I agree with what you're saying. That makes sense.
So they have all these things, and many movies try to like achieve this. They want to have this bar that you cannot go below, that you cannot make it so bad. And the way of the purge is to have it spiky and deadly, so people who hit the bar die, and it's entertaining. And the Marvel way of things is that they have built up this like image of the Marvel quality, and they have always like an interesting villain and an interesting hero, and something happens and there's a fight and that's interesting and all that. And they've perfected this. They've made all these like movies so perfect they cannot fail, and they always keep bouncing. Like if they just throw a ball and it just bounces up and down, it's a little bit above average and people like it. But then they took the whole volume and mass of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, they took it and they crushed it on the bar. And they lowered it, which caused all the movies to now be absolutely not interesting, and nobody cares about the Marvel Universe anymore after the Endgame Ultimate Super Fight Universe showdown.
people are tired of superhero movies. There are too many. Part of it are also the expectations that they set for the movie, like The Purge. Doesn't really, like, the marketing doesn't really make it sound like it's going to be very good.
Yeah.
It's going to be an action movie that you're going to have fun watching people shoot each other.
That's a crutch they use to support this bar, so you don't expect anything, so already it's average.
Zero expectations. Honestly, at this point, I think people didn't have a huge expectation of most Marvel movies. Like, I guess people like Black Panther, some of the... Even the Avengers, I think Age of Ultron wasn't that strong. The expectations were falling. People were still watching it because momentum. But you are right that people don't care anymore now that the main plotline ended. It's like, yeah, man, whatever. But I wonder that when the next movies come to the cinemas, whether they will be popular or not.
Yeah, this bar strategy, metal bar strategy works if you crash characters on it, you can crash stories on it, you can crash sound on it, you can crash effects on it. But if you crash the whole universe on it, it breaks.
Yeah,
I guess
it
so.
might be too much, yeah.
Because, yeah.
So what's your question though? Like, do you think the bar exists
yes.
or what? Okay, I'm so sorry.
There's no question, I just went to rant about it.
Oh, okay.
But I guess the question is, do you think this makes any sense and does it happen a lot? But we already said.
I definitely agree that they prop up the movies with good action. Like, nobody gives a shit what's in the movie itself, the story. The story doesn't matter as long as this half-decent action. Enough people will watch it and be reasonably entertained.
Yeah, I think it's all about like having too much information about the audience. So basically, the authors try to make it so that everyone is going to enjoy at least a little bit of it, and it's too broad for
That's exactly
a focused. Like if you want to focus on one person, he's not going to enjoy it that much because it's basically standardized for the whole population. So basically, it's what I'm trying to say. The marketing and the money gain is more important than the story they try to portray.
There's a name for that, made by a committee.
Yeah, that's
Not
true
by a
also.
creator, but by a bunch of people with the tables telling them what has to be in the movie.
They're trying to prevent it from failing, and they're trying to build this like bar I keep telling you
Yeah,
about.
but when they overdo it, it fails horribly because it's unwatchable, because it's just bland.
Yeah, but some people still watch it and they're fine with it. That's the bad part. If you think about a movie that doesn't do this, it's usually a movie, or I would say always a movie that makes some people really happy and some people really angry, and some people don't care. Like a movie that got very mixed reviews. So that's the movie I want to watch, because that doesn't do this. That's like, it takes a chance, and either or usually some people appreciate it for what it's trying to do, so they give it a good review, and some people, for them, it just falls below the line of like, I'm not interested, and they just don't care, and it doesn't attempt to like catch the people who are falling through the like non-interest gap.
True.
So that's what I meant by that.
Do you have any recommendations about this?
You mean like a movie that doesn't have a steel bar in it?
Yeah.
I really like a very ugly, disgusting, and horrifying movie called Mother, which is definitely not a movie with a steel bar in it. This movie crashes straight ahead into hell, and you enjoy it or you hate it. So, this is a movie I really liked a few years ago, and I might have liked it because I wasn't very happy at the time. But I watched it many times. I forced a few friends to watch it with me, and some of them hated me for it. Most of them didn't understand it. And it's very funny to watch people watch it at the cinema, because the first 30 minutes people leave because it's too boring, and the last 30 minutes people leave because it's too extreme.
Okay. Now you got me interested.
It's like an emotional art piece thing that has many like metaphors, and you can explain it in many ways, and it has a literal explanation that I don't like and I don't want to say. And if you don't know it, I think you enjoy it more. And if you find something in it, I think it's a really great movie that makes you feel what it's trying to make you feel in ways that other movies can't do. But at the same time, it's all bullshit and like shock and like very uncomfortable. So, so I'm not sure you want to see this, but I like it.
I got a movie with no steel bar.
Okay.
It's in no way like life-changing or anything, but I mean, I've told you about it. Turbo Kid, which is like, you know, a movie made in the 2000s, but set in the 90s after an 80s apocalypse. All the apocalypses. So,
What the hell?
So, yep, no bar there.
I had to look that up, sorry.
Yep, so Turbo Kid. Yep.
Yeah, I'm planning
That's
to watch
the
this.
one.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely
No bar
planning
in
to watch
there.
this.
It's just escalated. It's like when you think it can't get any more ridiculous, it gets more ridiculous, and you think it can't get any more ridiculous, and it's more ridiculous, and you think it's done, and
Yeah,
it's not done.
I love those movies. Yeah. Another movie I watched with Chan and she didn't like at all was Crank.
Oh
Jason
god.
Statham.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's a good one.
That goes like to hell so fast and doesn't take any shits and doesn't give any shits. So that definitely doesn't make sure that the audience will be pleased, but it just does what it wants to do, and I love it.
It's just a shit show of a ride, but
Yep.
it's fun. It's full of action and like
It is really jam packed, like never like stopping. But it's like
Yeah.
I just wanted something more.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything and I had fun with it. So. I meant to say, if you want to come back and tell us what you thought about these movies, we can do that. Because originally I edited a clip in one of the other episodes, watch these anime shows, and then listen to this episode where we talk about them. But it took us half a year to record this, so we cancelled that. So, if you want to hear us talk about Mother
Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid, and that's it. Do you have any movies?
I'm thinking about what was the movie about the guy who had a machine gun? It was a Japanese live action movie where a guy got operated on and he got a machine gun attached to his hand, and then he became like this ultimate weapon of a hitman. It was a bizarre thing. And I gotta look up the name for it. I don't think I'm gonna find it, but I'll send you the link when I find
Definitely,
it.
sure.
I'm thinking maybe Snowpiercer, but
Oh yeah.
maybe I can't think of the top of my head. I'm not sure if it's controversial enough. I think a lot of people really didn't like it, and a lot of people really liked it. Maybe.
Just one of the not likes.
See, I quite liked it.
I liked it too, but not too much. It was like, okay.
I really like the premise. The premise is awesome.
Yeah. Did you try the TV show?
There's a TV show?
Oh, no.
Oh, I didn't know.
I tried the first episode and I didn't last 10 minutes.
Okay.
It was that good. Oh my god.
So that's it for the photo today. Let us know your movie that's not with a steel bar in it. It's minddarkjapan@gmail.com. And that's it. So before Adam leaves, thanks a lot for recording anime stuff. If you want to start off a spin-off podcast or come again, I'll be happy to do this anytime. It's basically you doing it because I don't know anything about any anime.
No, don't be so hard on yourself.
So how do you feel about this debacle of a discussion? Any final comments?
But you said you weren't going to talk. Just kidding.
I'm happy we have done this. Like it took a while to get this set up, as we all know, but I think it was worth it. We had some good points, some bad points.
My favorite part was
overall.
the script.
Yeah, thank you. It was like an amazing performance. It was very surprising.
I love it.
Oh god. Oh, okay. I didn't expect it to be so good. It was okay. Thanks, thanks, guys.
Any final comments before you go?
Yeah, it was fun. Your opinions on anime are always very entertaining. And highly unusual.
Alright, so thanks again and see you in the next episode.
Thank you for inviting us. Salamapagi.
Yes, thanks for having us. Arigatou.
Do you have any message that people have to hear? As you know, I have many listeners in Kuwait now.
Please don't spend 400 hours watching Hellsing. You deserve more.
Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon. She will never turn her back on a friend. She is always there to defend. She is the one on whom we can depend. She is the one named Sailor Venus, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Mars, Sailor Jupiter. Secret powers are so new to her. She is the one named Sailor Moon. Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight. When the sailors got to help fight, she is the one named Sailor Moon. She is the one named Sailor Moon. She is the one Sailor Moon.
What?
Yeah.
It's not that funny. It's not that funny. God damn it.